Something about this cute Christmas special feels off. You've got a mayor who literally bans toys, a wedding no church will host, and a penguin who can't even keep the same name. Tonight we're digging into 14 strange details you only notice as an adult: hidden politics, quiet censorship, behind-the-scenes chaos, and even missing puppets. Once you see them, you'll never look at Santa the same way again. Fact 1. The villain who looks a little too family. Burgermeister Meisterburger isn't just a cranky cartoon mayor yelling about toys. When you rewatch this special as an adult, he feels uncomfortably close to real authoritarian leaders from European history. The exaggerated German name, the chest full of medals, the stiff uniform, the marching soldiers, the way he turns harmless play into a threat that must be outlawed, it all echoes the language and imagery used by real regimes to control culture. Fans and commentators often read him as a send-up of militaristic societies and the kind of governments that banned books, music, and anything that didn't fit the official line. The movie never spells this out, but once you've seen documentary footage of rallies and crackdowns, Burgermeister stops being just a silly bad guy. He becomes a dark joke about what happens when power is terrified of joy. And the harshest proof of that paranoia is in one specific scene that some TV versions quietly tried to erase. Fact 2. The toy bonfire that kept vanishing from TV. There's one moment in Santa Claus Is Comin to Town that hits way harder when you're grown. Burgermeister's soldiers pile up all the confiscated toys, build a massive bonfire, and throw everything into the flames while the children watch, powerless. As a kid, you just see the bad guy destroying presents. As an adult, it's impossible not to think of real book burnings and cultural purges, where objects labeled dangerous were publicly destroyed to send a message. The image of laughing authority figures torching symbols of childhood joy is genuinely disturbing once you understand that history. That's exactly why some later broadcasts toned the scene down or cut parts of it entirely. Different airings softened the flames, shortened the sequence, or rushed past it so it wouldn't feel quite so brutal for younger viewers. Depending on when you watched, your version of this moment might be very different. And that still wasn't the only time networks decided this cute special needed a cleanup. Fact 3. The wedding no church wanted to host. Blink and you'll miss one of the boldest lines in the whole special. When Kris and Jessica get married in the forest, the narrator casually explains they're doing it there because no church would have them. As a kid, you're focused on the pretty trees and little animals. As an adult, that sentence hits like a brick. It's not just a cute woodland wedding. It's a story about institutions shutting their doors on people who don't fit their rules. The special never names a real church or real denomination, so it stays firmly in the realm of fictional commentary. But the idea of a couple being quietly excluded for who they are or how they live is very real, and that's what makes the line sting. Over the years, some broadcasts reportedly trimmed or softened parts of this moment, likely because it felt a little too honest for a cozy Christmas rerun. And that uncomfortable honesty sets up Jessica's own personal awakening in the trippiest scene of the entire movie. Fact 4. The psychedelic song Hiding in a Christmas Special. When Jessica sings My World is Beginning Today, the movie suddenly stops looking like a cozy holiday special and starts feeling like a late 60s music video. The background melts into swirling shapes, stylized flowers, and dreamy colors, while Jessica floats through it all like she just walked out of a psychedelic poster. Kids just see Jessica's song. Adults see pure counterculture energy dropped right into the middle of Santa's origin story. The lyrics are all about throwing away old fears, questioning what she's been taught, and choosing a new way to see the world. It's basically a soft revolution wrapped in a love song. For some TV edits, that entire number got chopped out to save time, which accidentally erased most of Jessica's internal transformation and made her change of heart seem way more sudden. Watch the full version as an adult, though, and it's clear. This isn't just background music. It's the moment she stops defending the system and starts quietly joining Kris's side. Fact 5. Young Santa is basically a 70s rebel in disguise. Look at young Kris Kringle and try to pretend he looks like the traditional saintly Santa. You can't. With his shaggy pop idol haircut, bright blue eyes, and easy grin, he looks more like a 1970s folk singer than a church painting. Kids see a friendly toy maker. Adults see a chilled-out rebel smuggling joy into a lockdown town. Kris doesn't just hand out toys politely. He breaks the Burgermeister's laws on purpose, sneaks into houses through doors and chimneys, and sets up shop in the forest with a clan of marginalized toy makers who live completely off the grid. He's fighting an unjust system with contraband presence and a smile. That's less saint on a postcard and more counterculture hero who swapped protest signs for stuffed animals. By the time he's older, the hair is tamer, the suit is iconic, and the world calls him Santa. But once you've seen this groovy version of him, it's hard to forget that underneath the white beard, there's still a rule-breaking kid who never stopped. Fact 6. The monster who gets a full-on therapy anthem. Winter Warlock's big turnaround looks magical when you're a kid, but as an adult, it feels almost like a cartoon therapy session set to music. Put one foot in front of the other isn't just a cute earworm. It's basically a self-help routine. The lyrics break change down into tiny manageable steps. Don't fix everything at once. Don't obsess over your past. Just take one small move in a better direction, then another, and let the new version of you slowly catch up. That's exactly how modern therapists talk about breaking habits and rebuilding your life after you've messed up. Winter isn't redeemed in a single spell. He has to literally learn how to walk again, physically and morally. In some broadcasts, this whole sequence got shortened or dropped to make room for commercials, which guts the emotional logic of his redemption. But in the full cut, it's crystal clear. Even the scariest villain in the woods can change if someone shows him kindness in a simple toy train. Fact 7. The tiny mistakes that expose the Japanese studio behind it. On screen, the story takes place in a vaguely European toy town. Behind the scenes, it was built and animated in Japan, frame by painstaking frame. Most kids never question it, but adults with a sharp eye can spot the Tokyo fingerprints hiding in the background. The funniest giveaway is on Grimsley's clipboard during "No More Toy Makers to the King." If you freeze the right shot, you can see foil packaging printed with the word Lotta, a real East Asian candy brand, casually recycled as set dressing. It's like an animator grabbed whatever was on their desk and glued it into the prop. In another shot, when the penguin takes a fall, you can briefly see a metal support moving with him at the top of the frame. That little bracket is part of the rig that kept the puppet suspended, accidentally left in view. Kids' brains ignore it. Adults notice the trick behind the magic and start imagining the entire Japanese team sweating over these tiny, imperfect toys. Fact 8. The man who practically voiced an entire town. If you stick around for the credits, one name quietly explains why Sombertown feels so strangely consistent. Paul Frees. To a kid, he's invisible. To an adult who knows voice work, he's everywhere. He doesn't just play Burgermeister Meisterburger, he's also Grimsley. He's the Penguin. He's multiple Kringle brothers. He's guards, background townsfolk, random authority figures, and more. That means whole scenes are basically Paul arguing with Paul, threatening Paul, sentencing Paul to prison, while another version of Paul panics in the background. In the recording booth, he was essentially doing an audio one-man show, swapping accents, tones, and personalities in rapid fire while the script bounced between characters. Most viewers never realize that the villain, the sidekick, the doctor, and the comic relief are all coming out of the same throat. But once you hear it, you can't unhear it. It turns this simple Christmas special into a showcase for one performer proving he can, quite literally, populate an entire universe with nothing but his voice. Fact 9. The Mrs. Claus who finally got a first name. Before this special, Mrs. Claus was mostly a background figure. Warm, supportive, and almost always nameless. She was just Mrs. Claus, defined by her husband and nothing else. Santa Claus Is Comin to town quietly blows that up. Here she's Jessica, a school teacher with her own beliefs, doubts, and story arc. She challenges the town's rules, changes her mind when she sees real injustice, and actively joins Kris in breaking the toy ban. That one name does a lot. It turns Santa's wife into a full character instead of a prop in a red dress. The impact was so strong that countless people grew up assuming Jessica was the official, universal first name of Mrs. Claus in every version of the myth. In reality, it mainly comes from this special, then echoes through later Rankin based projects and pop culture references. Once you notice it, you realize how rare it was in 1970 for a cozy kid's Christmas story to take the time to give the woman beside Santa an actual identity. Fact 10. The Penguin with two names and a shaky legal legend. Ask a group of fans what the Penguin is called, and you'll start an argument. Some swear he's Topper, Others insist his name was Waddles. The confusing answer is both. In the original version, he's clearly called Topper, but in certain syndicated broadcasts from the 80s and 90s, lines mentioning him were redubbed so characters suddenly started saying Waddles instead. That weird swap has fueled a long-running fan theory. Maybe the name Topper was changed in some markets because of possible copyright or trademark concerns, since Topper was also the title of a well-known older film and TV property. It's a neat explanation, but there's no widely published legal document or official studio statement confirming it. So it stays in the realm of speculation and fan research, not proven fact. What is certain is this: depending on when you grew up, you literally learned a different name for the same penguin, giving a minor side character one of the strangest identity crises in Christmas TV history. Fact 11. The Christmas special that got quietly chopped to pieces. One of the strangest things about Santa Claus Is Comin to Town is that almost nobody grew up with the exact same version. Over the decades, different networks took their own scissors to it, each for their own reasons. In the 80s, some broadcasts cut entire songs like Jessica's Trippy Solo or the Forest Wedding Number just to cram in more commercials, ripping out big emotional beats and making character changes feel rushed. Syndicated packages went further, trimming multiple musical moments across the board. So the story started to feel like it was jumping from plot point to plot point with half the feelings missing. Later, family-friendly channels got nervous about kids copying risky behavior or being upset by darker scenes. So Chris's rooftop acrobatics, more intense shots of the toy bonfire, and other tense moments were shortened or removed. Each individual edit seemed small. Put together, they slowly dismantled the pacing and tone of the original, which means the classic version you remember might actually be a heavily edited cut you never knew you were watching. Fact 12. The puppets that almost vanished from reality. Every frame of Santa Claus Is Comin to Town depends on real objects. Wire armatures, carved faces, tiny stitched outfits, fake beards glued on by hand. These weren't digital models. They were fragile, physical puppets that had to survive constant handling under hot lights. You'd think they'd be treated like museum pieces. Instead, most of them simply disappeared. Only a handful of original animagic figures from the Rankin/Bass era are known to survive in good condition. The rest were misplaced, gifted away without documentation, thrown into storage, or just slowly destroyed by time, humidity, and neglect. That means the real Kris puppet, Jessica, Burgermeister, and friends may have ended their days in dusty boxes or trash bins, while their filmed images lived on every December. There's something eerie about it. The world keeps replaying these characters in perfect condition, year after year, while the actual little dolls that made all of it possible are crumbling or gone. The movie turned immortal. The puppets, not so much. Fact 13. The Christmas classic passed around like corporate hot potato. While audiences just saw Santa Claus Is Comin to Town as that same old special, behind the scenes it was being traded like a valuable asset for decades. The rights to the film bounced from company to company as media libraries were bought, sold, and merged. Each new owner didn't just file it away, they had their own plan. One might focus on VHS and DVD releases, another might remaster it for TV, another would stash it in a big holiday content bundle for channels or streaming deals. For regular viewers, the signs were subtle: a different logo at the beginning, a new network running marathons, or the special suddenly jumping from one platform to another. But those tiny changes are the footprint of big corporate moves happening in the background. It's strangely ironic. A story built around giving freely and sharing joy turned into a piece of intellectual property shuffled through contracts and boardrooms. On screen, Santa hands out toys. Off-screen, paperwork is the only thing really flying around the world. Watch this special as a kid, and it's cozy nostalgia. Toys, snow, and a happy Santa origin. Watch it as an adult, and it turns into something stranger. A story about control, censorship, lost puppets, legal rumors, and a world that keeps quietly rewriting itself. The wildest part isn't just what Rankin/Bass put in, it's how every edit, every rerun, and every viewer's age changes what you see in the snow.